Okay. Hey, I'm trying to, yeah, trying to find everybody. Ah, buddy, goodness. Come here. Come here. No, come here. Daddy knows better. Okay. Hi, guys. We got a wild dog here. I said, Daddy left him. He's upset. Uh, goodness. Okay. I think I found you. How you doing? How is everybody today? It's nice. It's pretty nice out here, actually. Uh, it. I said the weather's not bad at all. The sun's are shining. Thank God. You know, those few days of bad weather that we had just kind of do me in. I mean, I know we needed the rain. God, we needed it really, really bad. But I'm just, you know, I'm just one of those that the weather. Like I said, when I get 2 or 3 days of gloom and doom, that's all she wrote, you know. And you can hear, okay, Jerry, thanks. Um, hey, Sherry from Linden, uh, and Patricia. She says, hello from Lewes, Delaware. We left in our motorhome to head to beach in Delaware for the summer. Well, good for you. That's, you know, it's one of those things. It's beach weather. It sure is. Um, and I said we had a little bit of rain because we was in a severe drought. So I think it took I think they took the burn ban off. Um, but it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit more. But hopefully it'll do it at night. Kathy says it's another cold and rainy day in New Jersey. Well, honey, it'll get better. Rich A says hi from Warminster, Pennsylvania. Raining since Monday, and they just had a thunderstorm. Oh, yes, I'm one of those people. Like I said, if it rained for 2 or 3 days, I'm ready to bite the walls. It just drives me crazy. Elaine Skursky says hello from New Jersey, 59 degrees, and we'd be raining all day. We need rain, so we'll take it. That's the way with me. We need it, and I know we need it, but it doesn't mean I gotta like it. I'm glad we got what we got. Barbara Moore Mills says hello, Sue and Skip from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Been raining here for days. Yeah, for some reason, and I don't know what the weather pattern this year is really weird, but it has been since last year. So maybe it's just me, but it seems like you guys are getting all the rain. And I said, you get all the snow, now you get all the rain. but it's like I said, it's pretty nice here. I said, I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to really warm up by the end of this week. It's supposed to be mid-90s, I think, by the end of the week. And that's, that's a little much, but we'll take it. It's better than freezing. Um, okay, let's see. So, what's everybody going to do this weekend? Anything important? Um, Judy P and I went to the Hurricane Expo a couple weeks ago, and I learned. I go every year, but I learn something every time I go, and that's important. When you're here in Hurricane Central. And I said I've always told people, make sure what uh, shelters allow pets. But I learned this year that in Sumter County, all of them allow pets. Now, Lake County is not that way. Marion County, I wasn't able to get any information from them. But Sumter County, as far as Sumter County goes, all of the shelters allow pets. They do have certain shelters that are required for disabled, in case you need particular things. And there's particular shelters for that. So make sure, before the weather gets bad. We've never required a shelter, but you never know. It's one of those things where it could happen. But like I said, if you've got pets or if you've got somebody in your home that needs one that's ADA compliant, why look them up, make sure you know ahead of time before that bad weather starts, because that's important. But like I did learn that the Sumter County are all, they all accept pets. Now, the requirements is that uh, they have to have a crate of some kind. You can't just let them run wild like that. And you take their medicine, their paperwork, and everything with them. Uh, but yeah, but all out of them in Sumter County now does take pets. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad they did that. All of them should anyhow, but they may have to have a separate area. But like I said, every time we go to the Hurricane Expo, we learn something new, and they have tons of giveaway stuff and information, because not only is the police department's there, usually the fire department's there, the Red Cross is there. There's people that have the uh, I don't know what they call them, the meals that you don't need refrigeration, that kind of thing, for in emergencies, that kind of thing. There's people from that. Um, there's people that sell generators, uh, that sell particular windows for storms and all that kind of stuff. So it's always, always good to go. Every year I go. I said, because I always learn something. Okay. And I didn't get blown away by the expo, Jerry, but like I said, it was eye opening. A lot of stuff that they have, and I said, you get phone numbers for some of the agencies that you don't think about unless the hurricane's coming. So you get a lot of information, and like I said, they have a lot of handouts. They give away a lot of goodies too. I always get rulers and hand sanitizer and keychains and you name it. They have a lot of giveaways at those places.
Did I thank Jerry for the gift card last week, or no?
I don't know if you did or not.
Thanks for the gift card, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm going to, Jerry sent me a gift card to Hooters over here when they open up. And so I've already contacted the W&L group, and maybe not the opening day, because, we're going to be going probably most of the month of June. And I don't know when they're going to open over here. It looks like the other day went by. It looks like they're getting closer and closer to opening it. So I actually contacted all the W&L group, and I'm going to spend all that over here with the group and have beer and chicken wings. Well, that's what I'm going for anyway. That's what everybody. I know everybody says you don't, but I do.
Yeah.
And anyway, only comment I got, Linda's going to go, and Judy P's going to go. I got to pick a day where everybody's available. Jose's going to go, I know, but like I said, I got to pick a day where everybody's available. And the only thing Linda had to say about it was, "Oh Lordy."
Yeah.
But she'll go. She'll go.
Yeah. Casey Lane says, hello from Castle Rock, Colorado. My favorite Wednesday podcast. Hot and dry out this way. Have a great week. Well, thank you, Casey.
I've noticed that up north, this time of the year, I'd expect it to be kind of cool at night, maybe warm up a little in the daytime, and every other day you have some rain here, some cold rain there. I mean, just a mix. So I was checking northern North Dakota, getting ready to go up there, what the weather was like. And there's a guy that put out a pretty good video from Fargo. He took the back road up to, he didn't go all the way up to where we would go, but he went all the way up this back road. He went through Hillsboro, a town of Hillsboro, and a couple other little towns. And I was thinking about taking that road up there also. So I kind of got to look and see what the roads was anyway. But the main thing was the weather. He put this out May 11th, my birthday, which is just last Saturday.
Sunday.
Last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed the bank thing up there. It was 82 degrees.
Yeah, they're having pretty good weather.
For North Dakota, I would think that's extremely warm this time of year.
I think it is, because most of the time I think the average is like in the 70s. But, Daddy's got cookies. Was you waiting for that?
I don't know. He says he acts like he wants them, but then he don't take them.
Well, like,
No, I'll put them on the ground. He'll take them.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
But Castle Rock, Colorado. I don't. Have we ever been there? That name doesn't sound familiar.
I've been to Colorado. All these names, I don't know. When you talk about the touristy areas, everybody knows them.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about the back roads, and that's really what I like to travel, that's where you see the real state and you get to know the real people.
Yeah. Well, and I said, we've been in a lot of places in Colorado, but that name just didn't sing a bell. But
do you really want to see what Texas looks like? Get off the interstate. The hell with San Antonio. That's all touristy stuff.
Go there because it's good.
But I'm just saying, if you want to know the real people.
Yeah.
And we took a back road. I forget what back road it was. Remember, and we stopped in this town. There was like nobody around. We walked around the sidewalk. The old courthouse was right there. It was on a Sunday. If the cafe would have been open, I'd have probably had breakfast there. But anyway, that's where you want to go. That's where the real people that work there, that's where they're at.
Yeah. That's how we found Buddy.
Yeah. We was on a back road of Kentucky. And we just by chance, we stopped at this little restaurant that ended up being a great little find. I never heard of it.
We just thought it was an ice cream parlor.
Huh?
I said, we just thought it was an ice cream
Oh,
parlor.
yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. And Jose Diablo says, hello from Southwest Ohio. After a long, cold winter, we're having a very rainy spring. Well, that'll make the flowers prettier. That's all I can say. You know how I feel about rain.
Can you see well enough to see that bird floating just above that? Well, wait a minute. To the left, right here.
There,
You see a white head on it?
Yeah.
Those are basically coastal birds, but they come here in the summer once in a while. You don't
just
see them that often. Those are, what the hell are they called? Can't think what they're called. They're almost like an eagle of the ocean.
Really? Wow.
But they got a long beak on them, and sometimes they'll dive straight into the water, and they come out.
Well, I've seen a few around here in the last couple of days, yeah. Jerry Bell says, aloha, Grumpy.
Hey, dude, what's happening? Yo.
And yeah, Jose says, you look very Floridian today.
I do.
Yeah, Arlene Potty says, I love the shirt. And Joanne says, hey, everyone. Megan says, Castle Rock between Denver and Colorado Springs. Okay.
Colorado Springs is kind of a touristy area. Denver is basically, it's like Indianapolis. People fly in for business meetings and a football game and that kind of thing. So, but really, and nothing against them towns. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing against Indianapolis. I got nothing against Denver, Colorado. But I'm saying if you want to know the real people of Indiana, you want to go to a place like Hartford City. You want to go to a place like Pendleton, Indiana, Anderson, Indiana. That's where the real people live.
Yeah. Elizabeth Snook says, hi, Sue, from sisters Liz and Ann, Massachusetts. Liz and husband Stephen preparing to sell house and move to the villages. Oh, my goodness, great. We prefer Hillsborough area or Lake Sumter. Hi to Buddy and Skip. Well, Liz, there's a house for sale behind us, actually in the cul-de-sac. I haven't seen the realtor sign go up yet, but the man had passed away and his kids, they had to wait for a certain amount of time before they could sell the house. And so they were here last week and got everything ready. So they're getting ready to sell it. It's an iris, and I think they're wanting $4.99.
It wasn't for a certain person back there, I'd consider buying it and selling this place.
Well, like it's an iris, and they're wanting $4.99.
There's a guy back there, and I can't stand him. Matter of fact, most people in the neighborhood can't. He's a drunk, and he's weird.
Okay.
Well, he is.
Okay. But I'm just saying, that it's going to be, it's available now. They just haven't got the realtor sign up yet, so I don't know who's got it. But
wonder if it's got the original roof on it.
They're gotten $4.99. They just put new flooring in because they got.
I wonder if it's got a new roof on it.
I don't know.
In case you guys don't know, we just had a new roof put on our house last week. It had nothing to do because the shingles were getting bad. It had to do because it was a factory defect. And there's a lot of them here that have that same defect that I had. The difference is they don't know it. I found out by accident because Sue was talking to a neighbor. We called the factory rep. He came out and walked around up there, and he said we had a claim. He filed a claim for us, so the factory bought us or gave us new shingles to go on there. I just had to pay for the labor to tear the old roof off and put the new one on, and that's really where the money's at. I don't know if there's a game you can play to get your insurance company to pay for that or not. I never tried, truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you never met Liz and Ann. I had lunch with them one day, and you weren't available, so we had a good time. But I'm glad they decided to move here.
Liz and Ann?
Yeah, from Massachusetts. And
oh, there goes the home wash guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to wash this the other day, and because it's probably my fault, he rung the doorbell. Jason, I always get Jason, and he said that, are you wanting me to wash today? And I said, well, I guess, unless because it's raining. Buddy.
Okay. Get up here.
And I said, well, do you want to wash it in the rain? He said, well, he didn't really care, but he said, normally, he said, you have all this stuff away from the house. He said, so I really can't wash this. Well, I thought, oh, I forgot. I said, can we do it another day? He said, sure. I said, okay, let's do it another day, and I'll get this stuff. I said, call me a day ahead of time. That way it'll remind me to move all this stuff. I said, when can you do it? Next week? He goes, oh, probably about at least 2 weeks from now. I said, you know, there's a good chance I won't be here. And he said, well, I can wash it while you're gone. Which at first I thought, well, that's okay. But no, it's not going to be okay because I have to move all this stuff out of the way. And I can't move these flowers and this stupid stuff here out there to get burned up by the sun because I'll be gone for a month.
Yeah. But
good time for it to die.
I'll take over to Mary Ann's.
We ain't taking it anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with plants. They're like dogs. They're a problem when you want to go.
Rosemary O'Brien says, hi from chilly, windy, rainy northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah, I feel for you guys, but it's going to clear up. I mean,
you don't feel
spring.
for them guys. Why you say that?
Well, I mean, I remember how.
Actually, what she's going to say, if that was me, she'd say, well, better you than me.
That's kind of how I figured. And Anna Marie says those are ospreys, those birds.
That might be what that is. You might be right. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But Jerry we get them here. They're basically a coastal bird, but for some reason, they come in. It's just like them white pelicans. You think of a pelican being an ocean type bird, but yet if you go through North Dakota, and we started seeing these white pelicans everywhere.
Yeah.
Why they're up there, I have no idea.
It was really odd, yeah. And Anne Marie is out and about in Long Island in the rain.
Long Island.
Long Island, okay.
Long Island is really a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through there a couple of times in a truck, and then it had nothing to do with Long Island. It had to do basically with the city. Everybody called it the city, and the toll roads and the bridges and as a truck driver, trust me, I mean that's heart attack time. And when I left her the last time, I had to go to Philadelphia to pick up a return load. So I get to Philadelphia. While I'm in the dock, I called my dispatcher, which was Wink, and I told Wink, I said, put me on the card. Don't ever send me over here again. I'm never coming back over here again. And she just laughed because she knew I was serious. I said, if you're telling me I have to or quit, I said, I'll turn my paperwork in when I get back because I was not going to go back over there again.
Rich A says Skip needs a grass skirt to go with that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, this hat, if you can see it, what does it say on it? Cincinnati Reds hat. One of my Patreon members and Discord members, I can't remember names. You remember? We met them down here at
yeah, I remember. And they may be over today before they leave.
No, I thought they said they were leaving.
Well, she said they may stop by because they're in Collier.
Well, I thought they already left. I thought that when we met them, that was the last day they were here.
Oh, no. It was.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, they give me this Cincinnati Reds hat, and I got another one in there, but it's not Cincinnati Reds. It's Ohio State hat. Yeah. So, and they're nice hats. Oh, and then I want to open this because I think I know what it is. Another one of my
no, it's not cookies.
Members, I think, sent it. Yeah, I thought it was a hat. It's from the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Oh, cool.
There. But he has a couple of notes in here.
Is that good? Because a lot of times they don't tell us.
I like it when there's notes in there because then I can read them.
Yeah, so many things.
Wait a minute, there's something else in here. Hold on, there's something else in here.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a stick for Sue to beat me with.
No. Okay.
What is this?
Goodness. What'd you do with it? Your tree's right here.
Must be for you because I don't know what that is.
Oh. Okay. Oh, no.
What do you do with it?
I'm not sure.
Stick it. I know what you can do with it. Here.
Oh.
There you go.
That might be. I've got a few plants.
And it says, hey, Skip and Sue, here's a hat for Skip and a plant decoration.
Oh, very good.
For Sue. By the way, real issued hat. Oh, that's for the Department of Corrections. That's the like my ICE hats and stuff. They come from the real place, like my state police hat in Indiana, the bomb squad. That is their real. What do you call them when they're real? The real, or whatever.
Authentic.
Authentic, yeah, authentic.
Okay.
So take care of Brian and Tammy Johnson. I'm pretty sure Brian and Tammy's Patreon members and Discord members. That name sounds familiar.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
I'm bad about names. And it says, here's a second note. Says, Skip, you suck. Okay, all right. Send them videos in.
Yes, yes. Oh, goodness. Those are cool.
By the way, if you're new and don't know what that means, you got to be a Patreon member and a Discord member to appreciate this.
Oh, my. Are we going to get...
Oh, God. Why is it they got this thing timed? Every time I start a live show, they got to mow grass.
I don't know. But we will see. I see he's not so bad. He does it really quick. So.
That's not the same guy.
Yeah. Come here. Where are you going? You went up there with Daddy?
Come on. What do you want? Oh, we just wanted.
He's been kind of puny last couple of days, so he's just now getting his strength
He just
back.
wants to.
And he's in real pain.
No, don't eat the plants.
Oh my goodness!
Come on.
But he wasn't eating or anything. He was sleeping most of the time. And
He eats. He eats half my food.
well, that's probably the big share of it right there. But like I said, he's just been kind of out of sorts the last couple of days. So
What are you doing?
yeah. He's been a good baby most of the time. Yeah, most of the time he's a good baby. So and that was from Brian and Tammy Johnson.
Yeah.
You say okay. And the
I got another Department of Corrections T-shirt from Pennsylvania too. It's in there. I wore it a couple of times. I don't know who sent me that. It's been a long time ago.
that one was from Michigan.
Huh?
That one was from Michigan.
It was
Mhm.
the black one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So that is what the prison guard.
It was a prison of some kind.
Yeah.
I love
So-
prisons. That's where all
Well-
these people should be.
That's the family business, you know. My brothers, my sister, they all work at the prison.
Oh, by the way, somebody asked. I haven't done a video about it, and I probably won't. But about the undocumented workers down here in the villages that they arrested yesterday. It was like a total of like 20 of them, I think, or maybe 24. And the reports this morning said that all of them were undocumented. There were several of them, I forget how many it was, that had been deported before, and they returned illegally. And I guess a couple of them had been deported like permanently for actions they had done, selling drugs or something, I don't know. And so, yeah, anyway, they got them all in custody and they turned them over to ICE. And according to Ron DeSantis, they will all be deported, but they want to process them. And by that, they want to know who these people are. And once they find out exactly who they are, they're going to fingerprint them. They're going to do all that stuff. So if they come back again, they're going to go directly to prison.
Okay. And you know, so you know, if you've got a new house going up down in the southern area,
It may be a while.
It may be a while.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be a state investigation from what I'm reading. I'm reading between the lines. It never did say this exactly. I'm reading between the lines that I think the state's going to start doing an investigation of why the people hiring people aren't vetting these people. And I'm not sure we have a law that says they have to. Indiana had a law. I'm not sure they have it here. And so anyway, that's the update on it.
Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, nice.
I see my guy this morning mowed grass, so
Yes, he
he's
did.
okay.
Yeah, either that or they don't know about it. But I seen him talking to some tree trimmers a couple weeks ago. They had stopped and had some tree trimmers asking for their paperwork and everything.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
you know, it's not that they're driving around and they see a tree trimmer and they say, "Hey, come on down here. I want to see your ID." They're not doing that. They're coming in and they're finding big areas where people of other countries are working in big swarms. And when they come here, everybody knows, like in California, it's pickers. A lot of the farm people out there are from Mexico, but California encourages that. They give them all the stuff they need when they cross that border. So, you know, you don't see them deporting stuff out of California because they've got the proper stuff that the governor says they have to have.
Yeah.
Well, the governor here has his rules. And if you don't follow them rules, they're going to come looking for you. And let's face it, DeSantis is a Trump supporter. So whatever Trump wants, DeSantis is going to do it. And I'm not picking one side or the other here. I'm just simply telling you that's how it is. And our developer is a big Republican. And all of our Wildwood commissions over there are all Republican. So you can see what's going on. I mean, down the line, whatever one wants, the other one's going to do.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it will make a shortage of people for what they're wanting. But I think it was that, what was it, a month ago when they arrested that MS-13 guy
Yeah.
here?
But
And I think he had his own business.
He had his own business. People
Yeah.
were always saying, why didn't they vet him? Well, you can't vet somebody that owns their own business. They put out a bid here, like here in the villages, they put out a bid for something, or me. If I hire a company to come in here and say, paint the inside of my house, they send 2 or 3 guys over here to paint my house. I don't bet them 3 guys. I expect a company to do that. Well, this guy that they arrested, that was an M13 member, MS-13, whatever,
Yeah.
he owned his own business, his own drywall business. So there's no vetting him. He bids on jobs and he wins the bid. He goes in and does it.
But that might have given a heads up to the amount of people that are working here, and so give them reason to come take a look.
But it ain't just the illegals either. I don't want to say that. We had Sue went over and picked out some tile. I wish we had never done it. Over here, it's this, I don't even know the name of that place. So I don't even give any advertisement on 301. First of all, we ordered 12-inch tile. And then they sent people over here to install this tile because we paid for all that up front. And we also paid to have, because I'm picky about it, I wanted all my baseboards removed because I wanted to set on top of the tile. I don't like this buttoned up against the baseboard, then they put quarter around there to hide the. I don't like that. So, and we paid for all that. He shows up at the house and he said, I got your tile. He said, I want to stack tile cutter machine and everything in your garage right here. I said, okay. So I moved the golf cart and he stacked everything in there, and I never thought anything about it. Well, the next day they show up. He said they're going to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. They didn't show up till like 10. Buddy. And he starts taking his tile out and he's laying it out in the rooms to get how many he's going to need. And I'm looking at it and I asked Sue, I said, did you order 16-inch tile? Because it's a big tile. She said, no, I ordered 12-inch. So I told the guys, hey, we ordered 12-inch tile. This is 6. It was the right color, but it's 16-inch tile. He said, he said, this is what they gave me. Right away, I knew he's a third party. He did not work for the company that we bought the tile from. This is just one of the people around here that works for them, and he was here to install it. So instead of going through all the trouble of sending it back and going through all this rigmarole stuff, we just decided to use it. And it don't look bad. Don't get me wrong. It don't look bad at all. It's just that it wasn't what we ordered.
Yeah.
And these people that installed this, it was a man and wife. Seemed like it took them forever to do what normally would be done in most houses here in a couple of days. Yeah. We had all the tile, I'll say wet areas, laundry room, both bathrooms, and the kitchen were all to be there. You call it laminate flooring, we call it linoleum, same thing. We had it all tore up. And you can imagine the kitchen, you got to move the stove and refrigerator and all that stuff.
And our mistake for not using Roberto's, we'd use them for every other floor. Why we didn't use them for that, I don't remember.
What's that?
Roberto. I said we didn't use Roberto's for that floor. We did all the rest.
All this. I didn't do anything. When it comes to decorating house, I didn't do.
But there was a reason why I didn't use them at that time, and I don't remember what it was.
Only thing I can think of be price.
I couldn't get the tile. I think it was. I couldn't get the tile that I wanted. And
I don't know. We'll never use that company again. I guarantee you. We'll go back to Roberto's. I don't care if he is higher. I'm telling you, I don't care about price. I just want it done right.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he started working on it, and every day I kept saying, "When are you coming back tomorrow?" Because I'm not an early riser. So when somebody says I'll be here at 8 o'clock, I got to get up early to make sure that the doors are open and stuff. And so when they tell me at 8 o'clock and they don't show up till noon, it really starts to tick me off. And this went on forever. And one day he didn't show up at all. And then the other day when they did come in here, and I kind of let them know in a nice way, hey, look, you guys are going to have to quit messing around here and get this thing done. Because I said, we're getting to go on vacation. And I'm not letting you in this house if we're not here. And I said, we got to get this done. And we called the tile company and told them, this is taking way too long. We're talking about a week, and we're still not done. And she's out here in the truck smoking cigarettes and on a cell phone all the time. And so I said, if you guys would just work at this and quit playing around on the phone out there. Yeah, well, we got kids in school, and she has to call them and check on them and blah, 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 and all this and that. And I just think to myself, this is your business. Kids don't enter into it when you're in business. So anyway, we finally got it done, and we did make a report to the company over there. And I think his company's name was something Diamond. like crystal diamond or something like that. There's the guy.
Oh, we're not gonna do it. Okay, good. Um, okay. Let's see.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Claire May says hi, Patrick. And Marcia says Jerry. Claire May says here in Ohio, a beautiful warm day here. Well, good. And Arlene Ponte says I could never afford to live there, but looks like a very interesting place to live.
It's
It
a
is.
good place to live. I do like living here. I like the weather here. I've gotten used to it. I think there's been so many years we haven't had to deal with any kind of snow or anything. It has its problems. It's just the opposite of the problems you have up north. Up north, you're always preparing for the winter, insulating the house, making sure the furnace is working good, blah blah blah. Down here, it's the opposite. We're always preparing for the heat, so insulating the house and getting the air conditioner working and all that stuff. But other than that, it is relaxing here. The weather's always great. Today's in the 90s, but man, sitting out here in this breeze,
Feels good, doesn't it?
good to me.
Yeah. Casey Lane says we stay away from Denver unless absolutely necessary. No, thank you. So they stay away from Denver unless absolutely necessary.
Well, listen, it's a big city. You know, all big cities are like that. Indianapolis had their areas. Ask any cop; they'll tell you all the areas that you don't want to go. We went to New Orleans, and the taxi driver we used to take us from the hotel to downtown New Orleans, where all the action's at. Whatever that area is called, where they have um, the churches and the cemeteries, wherever that area is called. And the guy told us. I said, "Is there an area here I shouldn't be walking around because it's a walk around city?" And a lot of New Orleans to me looks kind of trashy. So the French Quarter, that's where we were, French Quarter.
Yeah.
And he told us, he pointed at one street. He stopped. He said, "This street right here." He said, "When it gets dark, buddy."
You have to be good now.
He said, it gets dark, he said, "You do not want to go down this road." I said, "Why not?" He said, "There's all kinds of shootings and fights and things down this road." Well, what was funny on the corner was a police station.
And it had been tagged. It had been tagged. It had graffiti all over it. Uh, but yeah, that was kind of a surprise to us.
And there's a town, the French Quarter. There's a town right there that makes most of their money from tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, that road right there, they say shootings and stabbings. So in any big city, you have this problem. I'm not making excuses for it because I wouldn't live in a city. Period. They're too dangerous for me.
Okay.
We're not like that. We have our problems, but we're not like that yet. We're getting there, I think.
We don't have big city problems yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. And Sherry Barnes wants to know how old is Buddy. He's 15 months.
He thinks he's 6 months.
No, I seen a new one the other day, and I realized how much better Buddy's doing than what he was when we first got him.
One thing, I don't know anything about Shih Tzus, but I think what problem with Buddy is, it's just part of his genetics. It's part of being a Shih Tzu. One is he barks all the time. He never shuts up, and it really gets on my nerves. Now, when there's nobody around and like early, he has times of the day during like morning hours. It seems like he's real quiet. He'll lay up on the couch next to Sue and just sleep like all day. But then when she goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night, that's when he grabs a toy. Believe this or not, he comes dragging it in my room where I do the editing. I edit at night because it's quiet. And he'll come in there and he'll sit next to me with this doll in his mouth. He wants to play in the middle of the night, and that's just a habit that he's never going to go away from.
Jose Diablo says, we know that some builders are going for the cheapest labor, even if they are undocumented. Yes, there'll always be somebody out there doing that. But I thought this E-Verify was supposed to take care of that. But who's enforcing it? I don't know as anybody is.
Well, this reminds me of like the gun thing, where they say you got to have a license for this, got a license, and they've always said, well, the law-abiding people will do that, but the criminals don't care.
Yeah. It's like locks are for honest people. Locks are for honest people.
Locks are for honest people, because I don't care what kind of locks you got. This honest person wants to get in there, he'll cut that lock off.
Yeah. And Sherry says they need a HB1 visa to work here. Yes, to do that legally, yes.
These people aren't here legally. They swam over here with an inner tube. And then they went up and said, hey, I need a job. Or they go stand in front of Home Depot.
Yeah. And Butterfly Florida says, need to be careful who comes in your home. Builders are bad about this safety issue.
They don't come in my home.
Yeah, and that, like I said, we've always used Roberto's, and we trust them, and their family.
We know them.
Their family members, and we've had them do every one of our houses. And I said, for some reason, I think it's because I couldn't get the tile there that I wanted. I think it's why I used the other guy, and I should know better. We did the same thing when we did the garage. We couldn't get our regular guy. And then I said, we use something different. It's been a disaster. So
yeah, that epoxy job,
Mhm.
that epoxy job he did in my garage is awful.
Julie Ship says it's 68 degrees there. Julie. Our Julie.
In Indiana?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Well, that's not, it's probably going to warm up. But,
hi, Julie. When are you coming down?
Hi, honey. Chris Welker says, hey, Skip and Sue, I'm finally coming this weekend for a visit and see how I like it. Oh, you'll like it, Chris. There's not much to dislike. Every town has its little problems, but this is not like the big city.
She says that, but it's depending on where you come from. The first thing you're going to notice when you get here is how close the houses are. If you're not used to having a neighbor right there, you may have a little bit of a problem getting used to that.
Right.
If you're not used to 90-degree weather and 70% humidity every day for 8 months out of the year, you might have a problem with this. So
he says he's staying at the Brownwood Hotel.
It's okay. You're within walking distance of downtown Brownwood to go to the square if you want to. You don't have to drive a car down there. You can walk down there.
See a lot.
If you ever see my nighttime video where the lady forgot her dog, she was walking to the Brownwood Hotel at the end of that. That's where she was from. So if that drunk woman can walk from the Brownwood Hotel to Brownwood, then you can too.
Oh, yeah. And you want to do that. You want to go take a look at the nightlife downtown Brownwood. It's, like I said, all three downtowns, they've got free entertainment every night of the week, unless the weather's bad. But, yeah, you want to walk over and take a look-see. And I'm sure you'll love it, and people are friendly. People that live here, all of them come from somewhere else. And like I said, most of them don't have family or friends in the vicinity. So it's very easy to make friends and talking to people. Skip used to sit at the bar while I shopped at Lake Sumter, and he'd sit there and he'd talk to the guy on either side of him. They'd be yakking. When I come back, he said, you got any more shopping to do? We're having a conversation here. So it's easy to make friends. Go to City Fire, check them out. World of Beer, those kind of places. I said they're cool, and I said you will like it. I'm sure.
Any place there's an outside bar, don't be afraid to talk to anybody around you.
Yeah.
Now a lot of them people down at Brownwood don't live here. They're outsiders. We call them outsiders. They're really not outsiders. All our towns are open to the public, but they don't live here. They're not permanent residents. But if there's an older person sitting next to you at the square, don't be afraid to ask them. Do you live here? What do you advise me to do while I'm here? What's the bad? What's the good? They'll tell you. They got no reason to lie to you.
Yeah, bad thing is, if you're only going to be here a weekend, that's not enough time. Yeah. You're not going to see much that way. But anyhow.
By the way, if you happen to go to the squares and if you're looking for some good entertainment, to have a little fun, I recommend Scooter the DJ. He's the only single performer here. He told us a long time ago that they changed the entertainment criteria where it's bands only. And he's the only single. He goes 4 hours nonstop. He never takes a break. And just so he knows that we sent you little inside information, just go up to the stage when you get a chance and holler as loud as you can, Scooter, you suck. He'll know it comes from me.
Yeah. And there's a controversy, ongoing controversy right now about not entertainment by the village groups, like the cheerleaders. I
don't know what that's all about.
I don't either. I haven't heard any information.
I'm thinking, at the bottom line, maybe some lawyer for the villages, because we're in a different generation now, has said there's some liability issues here. It's always about liability. Yeah. That if somebody falls, because the squares we do not own. Residents don't own it. The residents don't pay a dime for any of the entertainment. So if an old lady falls down, breaks a hip, Can there be a lawsuit?
I don't know. I think it's another generation taking over, and they just want more current things. But we'll see. Like I said, because the villages groups that they've had for years, belly dancers, cheerleaders, all those kind of things. Right now, all their stuff is canceled. We don't have any idea why. Like I said, it'll come up eventually. Just like the drone thing, we'll eventually figure out what was going on. But right now, we don't know what it is. Whether they think they're just getting too old, or they think people's not interested. People go to those things just to see people their age out there dancing and out there doing stuff. So I don't know what possessed them to do this,
I don't
but
know.
we will find out.
There's going to be enough hell raised about it that I can almost guarantee you this, and I'll probably be wrong because I said that. But there'll probably be a small report put out explaining why they did what they did, because I believe as time goes on, they're going to have to reverse that decision, because there are certain people here have been here for a long time. They're not happy about it at all. And a lot of these things that they do here is the main reason why a lot of people bought here.
Mm-hmm.
And when they start taking that stuff away, will that affect the sales down here in the newer area? It may.
Yeah. And Jose Diablo says, we didn't care for the French Quarter at all. Dirty and smelly. It was.
We saw a guy in the alley taking a pee on the side of a building.
Yeah.
In downtown French Quarters.
Yeah, and they do have a problem with that downtown. I didn't know I didn't know about the safety factor until that guy told us. I didn't know that there was roving groups running around that could do you harm.
Well, we enjoyed the French Quarter like everybody else. We did the walk along the river right there, which is kind of strange when you see the river higher than the town,
yeah.
But it's there. We went to that famous place to have the coffee and
beignets,
whatever that place was called. I forget it. We walked around. We had some dinner down there. I mean, we had a good time down there. Don't get me wrong, but I told her when we left, because I felt uncomfortable everywhere we went. I felt like I wanted to be around people because of homeless people were everywhere. And I told her, so I'm never coming back to New Orleans as a tourist until the governor, whoever runs that place down there, the mayor, gets a hold of this and starts cleaning this place up. And so I've never been back.
And at the time, there was a lot of construction going on to clean the place up. It was. They've had some pretty bad hurricanes.
Matter of fact, we were there. I think it was not too long after Katrina.
Well, it was a little ways, but there was another one that hit that caused them problems.
All I know is we drove our car through an area. They called it quadrants or section, whatever, and all the houses were still abandoned. They had numbers where they spray painted numbers on the houses and things. So yeah, but it seems like New Orleans always has that problem.
Yeah, because of where they sit.
Yeah, because they're lower than the earth.
Yeah.
They're in a sinkhole.
Years and years ago, when I was a kid, I read this book that a guy wrote about New Orleans, and he was writing all about the location and how it's set, and it was a disaster waiting to happen. But you read a lot of those books, don't pay too much attention. And then Katrina came. And I thought he was absolutely right. Everything he said was
anytime you got your home and you're here, and the local river is up here, let something break up here, and you got a problem.
Yeah. Let's see. Chuck says, stream title, The Village's News Updated.
Well, that's my news channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrestler says 61 near Hershey, Pennsylvania, and raining all day. Probably tomorrow. Not a lot to do, so decided to watch Sue's live stream with her guest.
I don't want to hear your whining, Wrestler. You're retired. Your wife's retired. You have a new car. Anytime you want to get away from that rain, all you got to do is throw a suitcase in that car and leave.
Yeah, and they had a nice vacation.
Yeah, they went to D.C., I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
I like D.C. I'd like to see more of D.C., but the traffic around there is horrendous.
It was, yeah. Catherine Jacobson says, hot in Minnesota this week. 90 degrees one day and high 80s. And, and Arlene Ponte says, just admit it, Skip, you love that dog.
I don't mind the dog. He just has certain traits that we're trying to get him to stop doing things, like barking. Yeah. People said, well, use a spray bottle. Doesn't work. Like traveling, because we do travel in the RV and stuff, and we took our car to Anderson to try it out. Everybody says, try marijuana pills, all these different suggestions. We tried them. Doesn't work. I just think it's in his DNA. He is what he is, and he's grown up here, and this is Buddy's territory. He recognizes everything, and he recognizes smells. And so he knows all the neighbors here. All the neighbors know him. If Buddy ever got out accidentally and got lost, all you have to do is put the APB out in our neighborhood and somebody would find him. So this is his territory. And so when we get him out of this territory, he's lost. And I think that's what the problem is.
Maybe a little anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he loves him. MK and Mitch says 44 in Utah and snowed an hour ago. Oh my goodness.
44 in Utah.
Yeah.
Wow. And yet it was 82 in North Dakota. Well, that was last Saturday.
Yeah.
But still.
MK and Mitch says, that's what he said, 44 in Utah and snowed.
Look at that. Look at there. Look at it. There. Up on the gutter.
Oh, I see.
See him?
Yeah, I see.
They're mating. They're having sex. The mockingbirds are getting ready to have a nest. Maybe they've already got. He's looking at them. Maybe they've already got a nest. They usually have a nest in that tree right there. Buddy.
No, you shouldn't.
Ignore them.
You shouldn't have pointed them out. Megan says, can you do a video of who you recommend for a list of upgrades, floors, paint, etc.? We have a video in our archives of that. That's like once a year we go through and tell people the people that we use for everything. Now, we haven't had everything done. So, we don't have a vendor.
The person we use for tile, I wouldn't recommend them. They installed it. The place where she bought the tile, I wouldn't recommend it, but I do know they do a pretty good business down there.
Yeah.
So other people do like them. I just didn't like it because I don't like the idea of a company will sell you carpet, but that company won't install that carpet. But they don't tell you. They have this, I don't know, some company over here that installs the carpet for you. And I don't like that I don't like doing that. I like to have one-stop shopping.
And we've always used Roberto's.
And Roberto's family
we've never had a problem.
And he impressed me one day when we had laminate flooring put in, which that high gloss stuff, which you can't get anymore. And I really hate that because I like that floor we had in that patio villa. That was nice. And anyway, they came out and installed this thing, and we thought it was great. He comes out, and a couple of days later, he wanted to inspect it to see how his kids were doing. And so he walks around the house, and I guess he gets to an area in the hallway there, and he goes, I don't know, he's from Brazil, Colombia.
I'm not sure.
One of them drug countries, I don't know. And he just says, no. He said, I'm sending them back there. That this needs to be redone. This isn't right. And so the next day, some kid showed up, one of his nephews, I guess, and they ripped everything up in that hallway, took the baseboard off and everything, and did some cutting and this and that, and put it back on there, and left. And all that time, I kept looking and said, what was wrong with this? Nobody ever told us. Yeah. But whatever it was, the old man knew it, and he sent him out there and fixed it.
Yeah. But
that guy impressed me.
But yeah, we do have, if you go to our archives, we do have some video of the ones that we do recommend. And for flooring, it would be Roberto's. For our
driveways, Romaldo's.
To enclosure lanai.
Oh, that was
custom windows.
Custom windows.
And our house wash is no pressure.
No pressure. I've had a lot of different places that I've used many different contractors here, and these are the ones that now we call over and over again because we know who they are, know what they do. People's always asking me, how much does it cost? It depends on what square footage, depends on what you got, depends on the material you pick out. There's no set cost.
Right. And Roberto, now one of his sons, Raphael, has opened his own place. And so we've never used Raphael before, but I understand the service is just as good.
If you watch the video where, well, no, I take it back. It's on Patreon only. I don't think it's on YouTube. Anyway, I did a video with Jose, and we were in Piece of Shit 1, and we went over to Dairy Queen, and back behind Dairy Queen is where Roberto's used to have a big building there, office there. Now it's a different name.
It's Raphael. That's his son.
And I think that's the son. Mm-hmm. So whatever that name is, I would probably use them because they're related to Roberto's.
Yeah.
And the truth of it is, if I called that guy and that son didn't do things exactly right, even though Roberto's doesn't own that anymore, his son took it over, I would call Roberto's and tell him, hey, your boy over here, I'd get him in trouble.
Yeah, but they've always done us a good job. And as far as paint, we've always did our own painting, although I'm getting ready to paint everything inside. And I know the high places I can't reach. So I'm probably going to have to, and I asked at Cards the other day, I asked people who they use for painting, and I got several different names, but I couldn't tell you who it is right now. But But like, yeah, we're going to find somebody to do
We
the high
probably ain't going to
places.
call nobody. Just
Well,
like microwave. We're upset. We're going to call somebody to install this microwave because I'm tired of walking around that box.
I didn't ever say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
Yeah, you
didn't.
did last
You
time.
thought I was
No, you
going
said that
to.
last week right here. You said
No.
something about I'm getting tired of walking around that box.
Well, that I was,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
But I
I
wasn't
installed
pushing
it
you.
last night.
Well, I didn't want you to install
I
it by
know what
yourself.
I'm doing.
I know, but I wasn't wanting you to install it by yourself. And
You're not my boss.
You had several
You
people
can't tell
offer
me
to
what to
help.
do.
You had several people offered to help you.
I don't want no help.
Well, I know, but like I didn't want you breaking my stove. I was afraid you'd drop it on the stove. And I see what you did. You had it covered with pillows.
I know what
That
I'm
works.
doing.
Well, it works.
I got it in there.
Yeah. Okay. Wrestler says yes, he likes that dog. That's why he called him Buddy. Also, he probably would forget the dog's name if he named him anything different. That's true. That's true, Wrestler. Because I asked him when the lady that had him, I was talking to her on the phone, and she's in Kentucky. And she said, what are you going to name him? That way I can start calling him that, get him used to the name. And I didn't have a clue. And I went in and asked Skip, and he said, Buddy. And I said, okay, sounds good.
Until this day, Buddy don't know his name.
Sorry. Don't know.
If he does know his name, let's put it this way, he's ignoring you. Because I holler at him all the time, and it just means absolutely nothing.
James Getz says, I agree with Jose. I went to New Orleans once in 2017. That was enough. The smell of urine, spilled beer, vomit on hot pavement. Yeah. Once was enough. Been there, done that.
It's amazing to me that a town that is so unique, that's how you kill rabbits, by the way, and is so visited by tourism, and their money depends on tourism, that they allow that stuff to go on down there. I don't get it. Between urine, people sleeping in the grass, in that little park area that's across the street from that Catholic church, whatever that park's called, I can't remember. It was a famous park. It was just full of drug addicts, tents. Yeah. I don't know. If I was mayor, it wouldn't happen inside the city limits.
Okay. Kathy B in the 603 says, hey, Skip and Sue, on my way back to Florida to take a cruise. Cool. Where are you going? What kind of cruise you taking?
She don't know. She doesn't care.
Well,
all I know is I'm getting on a boat and I'm hanging around the bars and the sauna. That's it. That's where I'm going.
One of our neighbors is leaving Saturday for a cruise. Let's see. Wrestler Man says, cruise in the villages. And Kathy B says, James Getz, I agree. The smell in New Orleans is just awful. At least it was in the French Quarter. It was. And I said, I'm with you. Since it's a touristy place, I don't know why, that they don't do a little bit more cleaning up.
Yeah, because if you stop and think about it, if you really stop and think about it, would you go into Disney World if all the parking lots in Disney World look like that?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. But yet New Orleans, if you look at it as a scenic place or a tourism type place, I mean, everybody is drunks and
we remember we were there years ago when we were young, and we were down there, and
it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that.
No. We had a good time when we was down there with Bob and Liz when they got married.
Yeah. And okay, Janie C says, how much to store RV there? We have a Class B, thanks. How much to store a Class B?
How much what?
To store a Class B.
Doesn't make any difference what you got. They just charge you by the lot. If you want to park it outside, it's like when I was there. You need to call over there and ask about updated prices because they've sold this place to two different owners now. And now we're on a new owner and prices have changed. For example, when I first put mine in there, I stayed outside. I had a Class A and we parked it outside. It was $50 with no hookups.
Just parking on gravel.
Parking on gravel. And I got rid of that motorhome, and I realized, we hadn't been in Florida that long, and I realized how hot and how bad the sun was and how they could deteriorate your roof and the interior. So when we got this Class B that I've got, what I call it a B+. There's no such thing as a B+.
It's a C.
It's a Class C. And so when I parked it over there, I parked it under roof with electrical hookup. Everybody has access to dumps air compressor, a bay wash outside, stuff like everybody's got that. But I want to be under roof out of the sun. So I started doing that. When I did that with electric hookup, I think it started out like $160 a month, somewhere in that area, 160. And now with the third owner of this place over there, I think I'm paying like 256 now with tax. That's
And
including,
that's a pull through.
and it's a big pull through.
Yeah, and
So
that's the thing right there. There's a difference, you know. You don't have to worry about backing crap
yeah,
in and moving stuff around.
so I got like a 50-foot pull through, and it's 256. So if you wanted to park outside, I'm gonna say somewhere probably around. I'm gonna say I paid 50 back then. You're probably gonna talk about 60, $70. Lizard,
Yeah.
such a badass.
Yeah, he thinks he is.
But yeah, 50, 60, $70 to park outside. If you want hookups and park under a roof somewhere, you try to get the smallest spots you can. They do have. I got like a 50-foot spot. They've got them down to. I'm not sure what the smallest spot is under roof. I'm not sure what the smallest spot is. Maybe 30. I'll say 30 foot, and then that's a different price with hookups. So it's up to you.
And then there are a lot of storage places around here, and you know the pricing is kind of all over the place. But that gave you an idea. We're in Coverall Storage, which is on 301, and that's what their prices are. There's also one across the street from Brownwood, back behind the Village Golf Cars and stuff. There's one back there. Don't know the pricing there. That's where Linda has her rig, and it's a building. So like I said, I know she's paying a lot more. But and they've got, I think they got two in Wildwood. They just opened a new one on 301 down by Coleman. So they've got them all over. The Villages actually has a couple of their own, but the waiting list, they tell me, is years, and so
They're
it's hard to
pricey.
get in there. And there isn't any under roof there, is there?
So you know,
I think they're all outdoor.
just call
Villages have.
Coverall Storage. Matter of fact, if you go to my RV channel, I've done so many videos of me driving over there, and I show the phone number and all that. Just go to RV channel, which is Skip and Sue RV thing. Or you can type in Skip and Sue RV Adventure, and it'll take you there. Or you go to my description box below, and there's a direct link. But go there and watch one of the videos. You'll see it.
Yeah, and they've been good to us. They have.
Yeah.
So we've stayed there.
The people there are super nice, easy to work with. I call over there all the time. Matter of fact, they called Sue one time and told Sue to jump my ass because I was over there working on my RV doing something. It doesn't make a difference what it was. But when I left, show you how my old mind's getting, I left with the side box open. I locked everything up, made sure the lights were turned out, all that stuff. Come all the way home, and Sue said, I just got a call from so-and-so over there saying you left your tools out on the ground. What? So I go all the way back over there, and sure enough, there all my stuff was laying on the ground.
Because they got a little golf cart, and they drive around all the time to, check the spots out. And I said, and they are gated and all, but
They got electric fence.
Scott Hirschman says Skip needs cookies. I think right now Buddy needs cookies.
He's chasing lizards back here behind me.
Okay. Claire May says, of course he ignores. He wants his own way. He does. And Claire May says, every major city is the same, smelly and dirty. Everybody has a west side. We don't hear, but everybody seems
like
to have a west
downtown
side.
Indianapolis. I can't say that about all of Indianapolis. There's a certain section of Indianapolis I wouldn't live. But we went downtown several times when Jim Ayers had that church down there. Very walkable at that time we was down there. Very walkable. They had a grocery store. I couldn't believe it. There's a grocery store downtown Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. If you didn't know it was a grocery store, I don't think you really recognized it. Yeah. And
that's important for people that is not able to get out and drive and get around.
I just never thought about
it. Yeah. Okay. Kathy B says I'm headed to Aruba, Bonaire, and I don't know how you pronounce that. Caracas.
Hey, one of our subscribers is from Aruba, right? Or Costa Rica. Gringo Loco.
Oh, he was there. I don't think he's from there, but he was living there. He come back to the States. I haven't seen him on here for a while, but he come back to the States. Yeah. Okay. Claire May. Buddy simply takes after his daddy Skip, ignores what he doesn't want to hear. There you go. He's learned well. Okay. By the way, I will not be doing my Thursday 6:30 live stream again this week. Got a family thing, healthy home cooking, and I need to go. Okie doke. So y'all hear that? Wrestler will not be doing his live stream this Thursday. Tammy Johnson says, "Hi Sue, glad you like the pot decoration. I have several too. I bought from a craft show. I love those. Those are so pretty, and I've got a couple that have birds on them, and they're what do they call it? Like stained glass birds, and they're on a hanger that go in my pots. I just love those things. They're hard to keep though, because if they're out in the weather very long, that metal gets rusty and that kind of thing. But the ones inside are beautiful. And Wrestler says, there are the cookies right out of the magic cookie pocket. Classic Skip.
Get out there.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows. He knows. And let's see. Oh, I went last week. Last week, I think we got some people confused, and it was because of our confusion. We were talking about the POA and the VHA, and we kept saying HMA or HOA, and we don't have a HOA here.
We do.
No, it's
I'm telling you, you're confused. I know for facts we do, but it's voluntary. You have to actually call them to join.
But here it's not HOA. It's the villages homeowners advocates.
You're confusing things again. There's 3 or 4 of them here. Most of them people have never heard of. There's a VHA, which is Villages Homes Advocates.
Right.
There's an HOA. I'm telling you, there is.
And this is the
POA. You
picked
the papers up right over there.
This is the
That's
POA.
the POA, but there's an HOA that was out here one day, and I looked at it and I threw it in the trash right away.
Yeah. Well, anyhow.
I
guess you're still confused. But like as far as I know,
the face ain't listening.
As far as I know, there's 2: Villages Homeowners Advocates and the Property Owners Association.
But the facts of it is, none of it means anything.
No, you don't. There's no requirement that you belong. And like I said, they really don't charge that much to belong. No. And I said they do a lot of good things.
They do.
So and I said they're good groups.
But I think some people think because I hear that HOA thing all the time that somehow we're ruled by HOA rules. We're not. Yeah. District rules. We have said it time and time and time and time again. What districts are we into now? Like 15 and 16 with the new area down there?
Yeah.
Each district has district rules, and they're different. So before you buy that house, get a copy of those district rules, and for God's sake, read them. And if you can't live with any of them rules, move on to another district, because the rules can be different.
That's true.
Look, Jose's district up there. He did a video. I showed it. People had a horse trailer or something parked in their driveway. That ain't happening in my district. You'll be knocked on the door before the day's end. Yeah. But in his district, he can park them trailers there.
And the pink flamingos, you won't find them here.
No, but you'll find them up there.
Yeah.
So check your district rules, please. I just don't want you to buy a $400,000 house, which ain't unusual here, and then find out something you want to do is on the news yesterday or the day before yesterday. I'll report it, but it'll be a while before you see it. A lady bought a brand new house. It's on a corner lot. And this happens all the time. Some semi come in, I think it was Mayflower, bringing furniture in that somebody had shipped down here. And when he cut the corner, because the roads are narrow, the semi-trailer went up and over the curb on that corner lot, which broke her sprinklers there, which that's why you shouldn't be on somebody's yard. You can break sprinklers. So she said, and I don't know if I go along with this, she said nobody would do anything. And anyway, she bought these decorative rocks and put them on that curb over there to keep people from driving up in her yard. That seemed like a normal thing to do. Well, technically, that's yard decoration, which most districts says you cannot have yard decorations. And so she said, well, I got to protect my grass. And then they told her, said, well, you can't put things out there in the right of way, an easement, which that's true, I think, in any state you live in. So she's still arguing about it. But those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. Now, up in Jose's neighborhood, they may allow them rocks on the corner.
Well, Judy P. had that problem.
Yeah.
She's on a corner lot, and some trucks run through her yard, just cutting the corner. And she did finally get something out of it. I don't remember what they
Well,
did now.
when I was a gate guard, we went to classes every week for all kinds of stuff. And one of the rules was, as a gate guard, and I had to do it too, everybody had to do it, is when a semi come into a new area and they're bringing furniture in, or maybe they're loading furniture to take out, the gate guard gives them a clipboard that asks for their information: name, driver's license number, the company you're with, blah, blah, blah. And then he leaves. As soon as he drives through there, I pick the phone up right away and I call the district community watch supervisor. And he comes in and I give him that clipboard or paper on that clipboard that has that address and stuff on it. He goes to that address. So what he's looking for, that. Did he cut the corner right there and drive in that guy's yard? And he goes to the house where they're either delivering furniture or picking furniture up. And then when they leave at the end of the day, he drives to there once again to make sure when on his way out, he didn't cut a corner. And because if he did, we got the information. And I don't know, down there, did they change the rules? Because if these people are coming in there with these big trailers, semi trailers, and cutting through there like that, and that guard didn't call his supervisor to go in there and check for damages, then that tells me that either somebody's not doing their job down there or they've changed the rules.
Well, you know, where Judy lives, that's a non-person gate. There's no people there at the gate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's nobody to tell that to. And there's a lot of them down south. Big share of them down south does not have a
Another good
person.
reason why you should have manned gates.
Right. Well, and I said, you know, they don't have 24-hour gates anymore. I say they quit the night shift. And I think they're moving toward no man gates. I truly think they're moving toward that if they can get away with it.
Well, there's been a lot of people complaining about that, saying, if these are public roads, why do I have to stop at a gate? Well, it's to protect the golf carts crossing right there. That's what that's all about. Yeah. But I don't know what's going to happen here. I see a lot of things in the future that's going to come down the pike. One thing is golf carts. There's going to be some major rules about these golf carts. They've already changed them now. When I first came here, it's been up to recently, you didn't need a driver's license to operate a golf cart, none whatsoever. Now you do. They've changed that rule, I think, as of like January or July of last year, something like that, to where it's like a car. 15-year-old has to have a beginner's permit. Some licensed drivers sitting next to them. Children are not allowed to drive on any road in any golf cart. You still see it, but they're not legally allowed to. And I think down the pike, I can see things happening because of all these golf cart accidents. We're going to be required by law, at least maybe Sumter County rule, I don't know, to where we're going to be required to have insurance on the golf cart. We're going to be required to be a licensed driver. We're going to be required for some kind of an identification tag, because there's a lot of hit and runs, and we don't know who it is. All you can say is a red golf cart. Well, God, there's thousands of those.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be some kind of changes about this golf cart down the road. I can see it.
And I got my renewal notice from Cart Aid today. And if y'all don't know what Cart Aid is, it's
AAA for golf carts.
AAA for golf carts. Although I think AAA does have their own service, but we've had Cart Aid since we come here, and I love them. It's a special service. They've got 3 different tiers now of service, and I said we just got the standard tier, which is $49 a year. And I said I used it before when Skip wasn't here, and I was out looking at houses, new builds, and I got a nail in my tire. And the man was so good about taking me to get a tire.
I thought he brought tires on his truck.
Well, now that's what I'm going to say. You know, the new papers, they have batteries and tires for sale. They also have they do plugs. They can plug a tire. I should have brought the paperwork out here with me to tell you. And they're also offering golf cart alarms, security of some kind. Don't know what they are. You'd have to call them. But Cart Aid is spelled with a K, K-A-R-T-A-I-D-E. And I said, we've had them since we've been here. And I said, we know, I feel more secure that way. Had a cart once that I backed it out of the driveway, and Skip wasn't here again. Backed it out of the driveway and it just quit. Couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, but I called them and they were able to push it back in the garage for me until I could call the dealer to come and get it. Um, and like I said, I just think they're invaluable. And like I said, they do have 3 tiers of service. If you, they will take you to the house. If they come for emergency service, they will take you back home, take you and the cart back home. If you want them to pick your cart up and take it somewhere else, that's a $40 extra fee. But anyhow, for emergencies, for $49 a year, I don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, it helps you to sleep well at night.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she came down by herself. If I'm here, I'm the guy. I'm the DIY guy. Hey, the car quit running. You got to come and get me. That's how it works. But if I'm not here, which I told her a long time ago. I said, I don't like the idea of you taking that golf cart down to this new area where they're building houses because you could get a nail in your tire. And then all of a sudden one day, I say, hey, guess what? I had to call Carly today. Why's that? Well, I was down looking at new houses and I got a nail in the tire.
Yeah. I don't always mind. Clara May says, I'm going to
Actually, to show you how far back that was, I think it was new houses down there by Fernandino, where Deb ended up buying a house.
It could be because we were in the patio villa.
Yeah. Well, no, we weren't. You were.
Well, I was.
I was working.
Well, I was not gone that often.
I worked like a dog.
Yeah, I did not leave that often. You know that. But first time I left, I
don't listen to her. Other than the winter months, because I always had it rented out.
First time I left, and he'd not used to being on his own. I think he put Dawn dish soap in was it the wash machine or the dishwasher?
I don't
One of them had soap coming out of it. He never done any of that stuff on his own. So, but I did run away.
You know how I look at a dishwasher? Right hand, it looks okay. Left hand, it looks okay. Dishwasher's fine.
Yeah, okay. Your mother said that. Claire May says, I'm going to use the same kind of plant in my pots this year after seeing yours do so well. Did you ever use Epsom salts on them? No, honey, I've never had to. I buy the Miracle Grow in the box, that you add onto your sprayer on your hose, and that's what I water everything with, and it does wonderful things. It really does, because everything down here is planted in sand. Now I add dirt to any of my pots or any of my flowers, but most everything is planted in sand. Sand does not have the nutrients in it for things to grow, and so you kind of add a little bit at a time. So that's right. I put it in there with my garden hose, but I've never used Epsom salt. I've always heard that. My mom used to use coffee grounds and eggshells. Now, whether it made a difference or not, I don't know.
I say if you don't know much about plants and all that kind of crap to make it easy, just go to Walmart and buy a big bag of, what's that fertilizer you use?
Miracle Grow.
Miracle Grow dirt. A big bag of it. Not cheap. Easiest thing to do. Put that in there, throw any plant in it, it'll grow like crazy. Yeah.
But like I said, I water them with the Miracle Grow, the powdered stuff that goes with your hose. So, but yeah, these are getting a little long in the tooth. They're going to have to be cut back some and maybe redone. Maybe their heyday is over. You don't know. But like I said, they went through a lot when they did the roof. They moved all my pots out there underneath the bushes.
And they covered them up.
And then they covered them up. So a lot of them
the sun kind of beat,
Yeah, and like I said they were smashed a lot, and so they're taking their time about getting back. But yeah, this weather you can't beat for plants. But like I said, in this hot sun, you gotta have a cover over them somewhere. And like these aren't exactly supposed to be. I don't think they're for hot weather. They do all right, but I don't.
They're like anything else. They got to be acclimated. This plant here actually was in the house, and when we first moved out here, even in the shade, the leaves started shriveling up. We watered them all the time. They got bad. We just kept cutting it off and left it here, and then they acclimate themselves somehow. And then when they come out, they're a darker green. And I don't know if you see the branches or not, but the branches are really thick.
Yeah.
And so I think once they get used to being outside, I say just leave them out here.
Yeah, they're good, but they still get sunburnt. If they're in direct sun, that you got to be careful of. But they do really well. Like I said, we're just watering them. So, but like I said, you got to have either some good dirt, or like I said, you got to give them some nutrients, because there just isn't any in this sand.
Or if you got even bad dirt, if you got a place where you can dump that dirt out, like on a tarp or maybe in a big bucket or something, and buy yourself a bag. I know, UPS. You can buy a bag of what they call it, cow
Cow, yeah, black cow.
Black cow. Take a handful or two of black cow and throw it in that dirt and mix it up real well, and then put it back in the pot, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's what I do when I plant them out here in the yard. I put some black cow and some good dirt. You can mix some. You can mix some perlite. You don't have to, but it keeps the soil from packing down solid like a sand would do. But yeah, I don't fuss with them a whole lot. They're just beautiful plants.
Come here.
Yeah. Wrestler says Claire May, the plants are doing so well because when Skip is out working in the yard, he's too lazy to inside when Skip has to potty, so he simply pees on the planters.
Well, first of all, I don't do flowers outside. I used to up north. I did it all the time. We had a menagerie around our house, but we always bought plants that we could split because it just saves you a lot of money in the long run. Plus, they look great.
Yeah.
I don't even remember all the plants we had. I know the daffodils, the what do you call them big leafy things? We had them around the house. They come in different.
Like what's down there?
Huh?
Like what's down there?
They don't grow here. No, we don't have any here. The big leafy things.
The one in a pot right there.
No. Whatever they're called. Anyway, I would pull out in the fall when we're cleaning things up in the flower beds. I would dig some of them up and split them in half and then move. You know what I mean? Move them around. We had a koi pond. I planted stuff around that.
We had irises that we'd brought from the farm.
And we had that grass, that wild grass.
Yeah.
Tall, ornamental grass.
Yeah.
We had 2 different kinds of that. We had all kinds of stuff, and so we always worked around the yard. We had I thought it was a pretty nice yard, but coming down here, I told her, I said, because you're retired. If you think about this before you do anything in your house, if you're thinking about traveling, taking 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time to take a car and go see the kids out in California, whatever. Don't do anything that's going to require somebody to attend it while you're gone for a month. I hate that. I don't like bothering neighbors saying, hey, I need to water my plants, because my first thing is somebody would ask me that, I'd say, why'd you plant the goddamn thing if you need somebody to tend it for you? And that's the kind of way it is with dogs. If you have to travel and you got to take a dog with you, they're a problem. They just are. Hotels don't take them much anymore. A lot of them just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got a dog like this guy, he barks at every little bitty sound. So if somebody next to you slams the door, he barks.
Yeah.
And it's just a problem.
Yeah, William says, sorry I'm late. I was out shopping. Said, that shirt is great, Skip.
Who was shopping?
William.
Oh, okay.
It's neon, isn't it? It's bright.
Yeah. I got 2 of these. I got a green one and then I got a red one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got this because I was going to use those shirts to do the news. I want to be a little different than everybody else. Then I found out, this is back when in my learning stage, when you do green screen, you can't wear anything green.
Yeah. Tammy Johnson says, does the hat fit Skip we sent with the pot decoration? You said Skip had a funny head. The black hat, did you try it on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When was it? The other day or something like that. I opened it once when I seen it, and I told Sue, I said, I want to do this on Porch Settin. I don't know, it was in the box. Yeah. Yeah, I tried it on. It works.
Yeah.
Anytime you get these good hats like that, especially they're kind of elastic like that, they fit a fat head. See, look at that. Perfect. And these are those with the strap aren't the best for me, but I found that the ones with the strap, if there's official stuff, I don't know how really to describe it. Official, and it is. It's got all the tags and everything from the people. For some reason, NFL stuff and the baseball hats and the police hats that like this, it's a different hat. I don't know where they're made, but they're made for American heads. And they fit.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it fits, Tammy. Looks pretty good.
And by the way, thanks for the "you suck."
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to name my company a different. Right now, Skip's Productions, I think, or Skip and Sue Productions, something like that. I'm going to change it to the "You Suck Productions,"
oh, God.
Or maybe "I Suck Productions." That's it. I'm going to say "I Suck Productions."
Kyle Reed says, hi, Skip and Sue. Great to see you both. We'll be going to the market of Marion this summer. See what's new. Oh yeah, you got to check out the Markets of Marion.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, pack your walking shoes.
yeah, they tout Renninger's as being the biggest. Uh, and I haven't been to Renninger's because last time I was down there, you had to pay to park, and I don't think they do that every week. But I wasn't into parking to see a flea market. So the Markets of Marion they're great. And I said you can find all kinds of stuff there. They have great produce, believe it or not. They really have great produce. And
They sell everything there. I got a big produce aisle, which is popular, like she's talking about, and
now you
tools.
can't be picky about what country it comes from.
Most of that stuff in that produce aisle, from what I've seen, is local. They have a pickup truck. Most of these people are farm workers, and I don't know if it's part of the deal on the farm. I don't know anything about it, but I know that they usually come in there with their pickup trucks. They back them up to their stand, and whatever's on that pickup truck, that's what they're selling. It might be tomatoes this week. It might be peaches next week. I mean, so and all the produce that we've gotten there, especially the tomatoes, has been really good.
Yeah, yeah. And I will be going sometime this summer. You know, I don't go all the time. I don't go every week, but I do go out there because they do have some nice stuff out there. Oh, and I love hats. I'm a big hat person. Yeah, I don't do it on the air, but most of the time I have a hat on. And I said I can buy hats out there for $5 a piece. I mean, you couldn't get them anywhere else for that price. There.
They got a lot of stuff out there. You can get a good price. They got a big somebody out there has a golf equipment store.
Yeah.
And you can get stuff there. Tools. Most of the tools I've seen though is Chinese crap.
Yeah.
You know, I call them throwaway tools. But there was a lady there that sold birds. I don't know if she still sells birds.
I don't think they're allowed to anymore. But maybe birds is all they can have. I think because they're not allowed to have the dogs or the cats or anything out there.
Yeah, if you like birds, she had a big. Well, I assume I haven't been there in years, but she had all kinds from parrots to minor birds. She had a whole slew of them. Yeah. Prices were, well, they're bird prices. So, yeah. I mean, depending on what parrots you get, they can cost you.
But they got a little bit of everything, and I said it's kind of nice just to spend the day wandering around.
Plants were everywhere. Plants.
Oh yeah, plants. Yeah, they had a lot of plants.
That's where I got my banana tree.
Yeah.
But I found out after I got it, it was the wrong banana tree.
Yeah, well, I got a new one. It's a red banana tree.
We don't know if we give you full bananas or the miniature ones like I had before.
I don't know, but like I said, I haven't got it planted yet. But William says, didn't Skip used to drive a diesel-powered golf cart?
I wish they had them, but no. Right now, the end thing is electric golf carts powered by lithium batteries. Everybody's buying them.
Yep. Chris Walker says, what village are you guys in? I want to be your neighbor.
Hillsboro. You can't be a neighbor. There ain't no for sale. Well, the guy behind us, I guess.
Yeah, there's one behind us for sale. And like I said, it ain't got a realtor sign up yet, so I don't know who's selling it. One of the neighbors told me it was for sale and what the price was $4.99.
Just letting you know that there's a crazy guy back there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get out much. He usually stays in.
Bad Karma wanted to know when was the last time I drove the golf cart.
Sue,
it's been a while since any of us.
She never drives a golf cart. She'll tell you she does. But listen, the postal station, one of the top 10 reasons we bought here was we had a lot of checkoffs on the list. One of them was so she could walk to the postal station because she likes to walk. She never walks to the postal station anymore, even on the best of days. Start the car, drive it up. And sometimes she'll take the extra time to load Buddy in the car to drive 6 blocks down the road and bring him back.
You've not tried to have him out on Hillsboro Trail. Yeah.
What's that? Is that another excuse?
That's a treat. But the stuff that we get in the mail anymore, some of those boxes.
Well, if there's boxes there, yes. But in a lot of the golf cart,
I can take the golf cart. Like I said, I admit I don't take the golf cart a lot now.
Why?
But when was the last time you was in it?
That's the question I asked. Why?
Well, I did.
I'm going to tell you why.
No,
they
you're
never
lying
admit it.
again.
They always deny it. The women here do not like to ride in golf carts because it messes up their hair. That's what the number one excuse is.
I didn't used to like driving in a golf cart because I had contacts in. And in the golf cart, it dried my contacts out. So that's why I never liked the golf cart. But I said, if we go somewhere together, I don't mind going in the golf cart or what have you. But
as long as I'm driving.
Well, I go get your mail in Wildwood. I can't take the golf cart.
That's an excuse. I'm from the postal station right down here.
Okay, I said I love doing the thrift stores. You know that.
That's not have nothing to do with the postal station right down here.
Well, no, I can go. I can take the golf cart and go to the. Usually, it's got. Oh, here. I'm sorry. I'm sitting there waving your goodies at you. Usually, it's got tools or something in it that I can't move. So that's why I haven't took it here lately because there's always been something in it. Okay. Claire May says, yes, I've heard of coffee and eggshells, fish bones too, and Miracle Grow does wonders for them. Yeah, that I've had really good luck with the Miracle Grow, and I said I don't know what it is about them. That it also
Do you know what
kind of
Miracle
protects them
Grow
some
is?
from
Do
the
you know what
heat.
Miracle Grow is? I used to go to the factory and pick that stuff up when I had a flatbed. Do you know what it is? I know what it is.
Ground fish.
I don't know the exact materials, but they usually have a place where people can bring stuff in and dump it, like old yard waste, and I don't even know what else. I'm thinking some kind of garbage, really, like food, but no meats. It has to be like, shut up, plant-based stuff, like bananas, tomato.
Yeah.
Anyway, they got a huge field, and it's just aisles, like hay, windrows. What? And anyway, they put that out there, and they cover it up, and they let it set, and they have these sprinklers that sprinkles water every so often on it. I don't know what you call mulch. No, not mulch. What do you call it when something rots? They let it rot. They used to have a thing that people did all the time with trash barrels. They put it in there and then they turn it over. Anyway, that's what it is. That's what Miracle Grow is. And then they put it in a bag.
Or whatever it is, it works.
Yeah,
you know.
and they back this big conveyor belt. And that conveyor belt goes directly into the factory, and that's how they do
it. William says, so the truth is out. Skip used to grow grass, so that's where all your money comes from.
Grass. What grass?
Yeah.
Oh, the ornamental grass. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Our yard up north looked like a golf course. It was beautiful.
We had neighbors all the time that come down and say, "What do you use on your yard? It always looks so nice."
Yeah.
And it was very simple. I used that Scott's yard fertilizer with weed control in it.
Yeah.
And I put it on my yard, like, I don't know, once a month. I mean, I did a lot. I put it on there, but I did it lightly. I didn't put it on heavy. And it seemed like it worked really well, so I just kept using it.
Yeah, but then when we come down here, they told us not to use that.
I don't know.
And I said, I don't know if it's a type of grass. And I said, our yards are being taken over. We've got zoysia grass, and our yards are being taken over by St. Augustine. I don't recall the neighbors ever changing theirs, but that's what they've got in parts, St. Augustine. It's coming from that corner right there where the St. Augustine
It's invasive. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
I've said it on videos. I said St. Augustine is the one grass that wants to grow here.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean, if you got a guy that mows grass all around the villages, he's going to get them little seed pods in the bottom of his mower deck. He comes to your area, which we're zoysia in this area. Them little seed pods falls out of his mower deck into my yard. Then by the next year, it starts to grow. Once it starts to grow, you're done. You can't stop it.
Yeah. And which I don't mind if it just fills everything in, but I know Bob, when he had him bring him some, what do they call them when you get the little pods of plants, grass, they call them something. Anyhow, and the ones that they put in were St. Augustine. So it's coming from both sides.
The little plugs.
Plug. That's what. Yeah. And so it's coming from both sides.
Yeah,
he said
you can't stop it.
By next year, our whole front will be St. Augustine. He said. We'll see.
And so the facts of it is, as of right now, everybody here in my neighborhood, we've all violated our deed restriction. Because our deed restriction says we have to have zoysia grass. I called them and asked them, I said, can I change my yard to St. Augustine? Think about this now, because this is stupid. And she said, yes, you can, but you have to change it sod for sod. I didn't know what that meant. So I said, what does that mean? She said, that means you got to change all your grass in the back, the sides, and the front. So, okay. So then I said, but St. Augustine grows and it spreads. It's like a big long vine. You have to see it to understand what it is. It's a vine. I said, what keeps it in my yard? It's going to go in a neighbor's yard. She said, that's your responsibility, which is stupid.
Well, Joanne Clegg says hostas up north are easy plants to split up. Yeah, and I loved my hostas. I had them everywhere. I had them all the way around the house, and I said, I've got a couple. I I've got one in the pot there, and then I've got one down there in a pot that I'm gonna put in the back there. But and I love them, but they don't take the heat very much. So if they're not in direct sun, I think they'll be okay here. But I can't put them out like I would.
We had some vine up there too, and I don't remember what it was, but it was one of them vines that wants to grow over things, up and over. And I had an extra uh, vinyl fence from somewhere. I don't even know why I had it. Remember that?
I do.
Anyway, so I went in the backyard next to our chimney, and I put that in the ground right there. And then I planted that vine on the other side of it. And within the first summer, it was up and over that and come down the other side and had 1,001 of these little white flowers that stayed there all summer.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've seen them in white and I've seen them in purple. And I don't remember the name of them either, but they were really, really pretty. And they made, the backyard, we had the koi pond and all the flowers and everything. It was beautiful. And we had a deck on 3 sides of the house. So it just really, really made it look nice. East Coaster says Skip used to sell weed. He was partnered up with El Chapo. He wouldn't partner with anybody. Trust me.
I didn't even partner with my trucking company, and I had several smaller trucking companies wanted to form a business, and all of us got to come in. I said, nah, I like being the boss.
BJ wants to know or Kathy B says, does black cow smell?
Black cow.
Black cow?
The poop. It's called black cow because it's got a mixture of cow manure in it, but peat. It's not all cow manure. It's mostly peat dirt, maybe some of the straw and stuff, and they set it out and they let it ferment and they mix it all together. And but it's composting. I suppose it could have a little bit of a smell to it, but
usually you don't use that.
If you're talking about using it on the inside of your house and that's why you're worried about the smell, I'm not sure it has that much of a smell, especially once it sits in there for a little while. Put it outside in your buddy.
When I use it in my pots, I only use like a handful. So if you mix that with the dirt and the perlite, you won't smell it. No problem. When you do it outside, and I said a lot of times when you get these blank spots in your grass, I said they tell you to pour some black cow on that spot to get the grass to grow again. And that's outside. If it's outside and you've got a lot of it and you're watering it all the time, that might smell. But like if you're putting your pots, you don't put that much in there. So, it doesn't. And BJ says, where and when is that Marion flea market?
Wednesday through Sunday?
No. It's
Wednesday through Saturday?
In the wintertime, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In the summertime, it's just Friday and, just Saturday and Sunday.
No, we was there on Sunday and half the stuff's closed. People aren't even there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, some of it, they're open. But some of them, they're individual stands.
I don't recommend Sunday. Half the people there aren't even there. They're at church or whatever. So go on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, but like I said, now in the wintertime, it's all 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But usually in the summertime, they just go to Saturday and Sunday. But it's on 441. The market's in Marion, so it's in Marion County. So it's down 441 and
head toward Ocala and follow the traffic.
Right. And they got this huge flag, American flag out. So it's not hard to find. And BJ, come over some Saturday. We'll go out there. I'll show you where it's at.
If you go in the wintertime and you go inside, and I don't remember which aisle it is, that's the best time to go because there's a guy there that makes miniature donuts. Remember him?
I do. We started to buy them.
And they're warm. And he puts them in a bag for you. And
I don't know if he's still there.
I don't either, but...
was it Little Orbits?
Little Orbit, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah, it was a franchise deal, Little Orbits.
If I'm going to go shopping with anybody, there's got to be food involved.
Yeah, but it's cool just to wander around in there. William says, Skip, you've got a point there. If you were a hat, no one will notice.
If what?
I don't get it. I don't understand, William says, if you've got a point there. If you wear a hat, no one will notice.
That I'm losing hair? Everybody knows that. I've done video without a hat before. There it is. See? I'm not bald, but I don't have the hair I used to have.
You have more hair than 30 of the people in this neighborhood.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh. And
You know, when did this start here too? They never done this before. These guys mowing, just running their mowers
If
up and
they've
down.
got more than one house,
They
they
never
just,
used to do that.
I know, they used to load it up and go, and now they don't. No. Love the Cape says, Skip it Sue, your channel is the best regarding the villages. I never miss the news
Oh, you
villages.
say that, and I appreciate it, but the facts, bottom line is that's not true. We are not the most popular channel here at all, by far.
She didn't say the most popular.
Well, it can't be
She
the
said
best.
you're the
The
best.
most popular is always the
The
best.
best.
No,
We're the best.
and we like to think we are.
Yeah, the news is very, very good. And I see puts a lot of work in on that news, let me tell you.
Yeah, and when the day comes that people are always saying, well, don't do this, don't do that, don't go away. And I appreciate all that, but I watch the views. If there's been a video up here for 6 months and I don't have 2,000 views on it, it's a good chance I'm not going to do that anymore. That's the reason why we kept doing W now. And I like doing W now. And I thought we did a good job at doing it. But you guys said no. So we canceled ourselves.
Yeah, Elaine Skursky said, I would assume black cow is dehydrated cow manure.
It is.
I grew up and that's the only stuff my dad would use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I said,
but it's not like real cow manure out of a barn. If that's what you're thinking, it's not that.
She said dehydrated. Yeah,
well,
and
it's not really dehydrated. It's fermented, I'll call it, because they leave it lay out there and it smokes. You can see it smoking.
Yeah.
But then they mix it with dirt and all this.
Yeah, they mix it with peat moss and other things.
The thing you don't want to buy, and I don't know if they even make it anymore, don't buy anything in a plastic bag that says human. Hey! I don't know who that is.
That's Tony.
I know, but I thought it was somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
It says humus, Humus, humus. Do not buy that. I'm telling you, don't buy that. I've hauled that before. I know exactly where it comes. If you ever been on 94 going into Chicago, look to the right up there as you're heading north, and you'll see like these pipes sticking in the ground at night, and there's little flames of fire coming out these pipes. Remember, saying all? That's where I went. That's where humus is packaged. It's a mountain of poop, human poop mountain right there. And they do something with it, and they put it in the bag, and they sell it as humus. Humus is human.
Yeah. And Scott Hirschman says compost. Yeah, compost is you can make your own. You know, that's where you throw in your banana peelings and your orange rinds and all that kind of stuff.
Personally, I don't have no problem with that. I just don't know in the villages because I don't know how much odor that has. Probably not much, really. If I think about it, it's just vegetables.
It stinks like garbage until it gets down to a certain point.
Well, that's gonna be the problem right there. Your neighbor could, because houses are close. Remember, I said that. That's something that if it stinks and you got it on the back porch and the neighbor over there, so I'm getting tired of smelling this stuff. He makes a complaint, they're gonna be knocking on your door.
Yeah. Rare 327 says it can be transplanted by your lawn guy. Yeah, I think that's where the St. Augustine is coming from. It's because there's some on either side of us, and I said it's starting to come into our grass. So
yeah, it's a battle you're not going to win. Yeah. And what can I tell you? I mean, I don't
Wayne
know.
Carr says hello. Hey, Wayne. BJ says you might mean Vinca vine, Skip.
Huh?
Vinca vine. No, that's not what it was, BJ.
You mean that vine up north?
The one with the little flowers on it.
Up north?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't even know where it come from.
I do, but I'm trying to, because there's a different version of that has big purple flowers on it, and I can't think of the name of it.
These were little flowers.
This is the
like
same
this
thing.
Here. They were just little
small.
flowers like that, but they were white, and there was like tens of thousands on it all summer long. And
then you would know if I could think of it, but like I said, we had the big purple ones, and then we also had those. It was
the big purple one was a clematis vine.
Clematis, okay.
But this wasn't that. These were little bitty flowers, and maybe it's a version of clematis.
It was,
but it was very small. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was.
It had a good smell. That's a funny thing about most of these flowers you buy nowadays, like at Lowe's and whatever. I've noticed because of the breeding and all this and that most of the flowers nowadays don't have a smell anymore.
Yeah. Jerry says, I think Skip should take Buddy to behavior class. They may both learn something.
Already done that. Didn't do any good. Matter of fact, they said that he was untrainable. Said,
no,
don't bring him back.
They said bring him back when he got a little older, and I understand that because he's a lot better than what he used to be.
They didn't want him there. That's why they said that.
Yeah, well. And I think he was too.
Well, when you took him over to get his haircut last time, you said, well, how was he? And what did she say?
I don't remember.
Oh, you do.
No, I don't. I don't.
We've had worse.
Well, yeah, she did say that.
That should tell you something.
Lene Scotia says, I just checked Home Depot. There are two types of black cow. One is pure cow manure and the other is compost. Okay.
I
Well,
think
your
I get.
compost
I
is
think
the
I
one
get
that's,
the compost.
yeah, the
Big
compost is the one that's mixed. But Williams's Black Cow Factory is nearby in Summerfield out on Highway 42. Well, they've got them everywhere, you know.
Hey, listen,
They sell a lot.
coming from a farm, I can tell you there's no better fertilizer than the real stuff. Right out of the barn, on the fields, plow it in. And we always did it in fall so it could lay there all winter. And then come springtime, we disc it and plant plants there. And my God, especially in our garden, it was just unbelievable
Oh,
how
yeah.
good it is.
Jose Diablo says, have you visited Bach Tower? Is always on our list when visiting Kissimmee. I've been there.
We've been there. Matter of fact, I'm thinking I watched Adam the Woo or one of them channels that does a lot of Florida stuff, and it seems to me they're going to close that down. I could be wrong here.
Maybe the tower, the gardens probably still be there.
The tower's what I'm talking about because it needs a lot of work and all this and that, and
Yeah.
it costs a lot. Anyway, I think I'm remembering something about it being tore down or shut down or something.
Yeah, and Deb and I took a bus tour there once, and had lunch. It was a really nice gardens there, really nice.
And just like Aqua Gardens, was it Aqua? No, that's in Anderson. What was the name of the gardens thing down there? The skiers. We went down there once. They got the thing that lifts you up, and
Yeah,
what's that called? I think that part's closed, or they changed it to another.
yeah. It's been sold up. I think now it's no,
like Toyland or something. I don't know.
the little blocks. What do they call them? Legoland.
Is it called Legoland?
I think that's what it is now.
We went there when it was something gardens.
Yeah,
Cypress Gardens.
Cypress Gardens. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
That's
back
pretty
then it
cool.
was beautiful. They had the ladies in the big dresses with the crinoline underneath. You know, the old Southern belles. They have them on every little spot you could see, and they had great water shows. But yeah, it did. It went downhill really quick. So, Amanda Hood says, hello, Skip and Sue. Hope to see you both. Happy to see you both.
Thanks for joining Patreon, Amanda. I recognize that name. You joined a few days ago, and you got your Discord link, and she's one of them. Give her a Discord link. 5 minutes later, she's on Discord talking.
Mm-hmm.
So why some of the other ones ain't getting on there and talking, I don't know. I feel like there's a problem there, but it ain't the Discord. It's the operator, and I don't know what to do to help them.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not on there either.
Well, because there's things on Discord that people aren't going to see on Patreon, like we're having this neighborhood get-together coming at the end of the month. But if you're not on Discord, you don't know about it.
Right.
And that's why I keep trying to tell Patreon people, get on Discord because that's where the action's really at. Right. And the reason why we do it on Discord as opposed to Patreon is because we give out things like phone numbers and addresses and stuff, and I feel like it's more private there because Patreon, I just feel like sometimes somebody can like scam their way on there. And I don't know if this ever happened, but it's just like Facebook. I don't trust Facebook at all. Never did.
Yeah. Wrestler says, Jerry, actually Skip did take Buddy to behavior training. The trainer got so frustrated at Skip and Buddy that the trainer retired.
No, it wasn't me going. Sue went over there, but yeah, you're right. If I'd have went there, they'd probably got more frustrated with me.
William says, tell everybody Skip's news is the best because when news breaks, Skip will fix it.
Yeah.
Cute. And Claire May says there is a clematis vine like that. I thought that's pretty sure. I said because I was used to big purple.
I just don't remember what it was called.
But it was a clematis, but it was a different kind. Yeah.
They'll say a clematis, then they have a name. But anyway, yeah, it was a clematis, and whatever that was. If all of them grow like that, if I ever move back up north, I'll have another one because I really like that one a lot.
Oh yeah. Becky Farber says, hi, Skip and Sue, heading home after physical therapy. Well, good. How are you doing, honey? Are you getting better? Let us know. Catherine Jacobson says, best fertilizer is water from your pond. I use it when changing water in mine, and my flowers and veggies thrive. Yeah, it is a good fertilizer, and there is some, I was trying to think, I was in a pet store once, and I actually seen a bag that had fertilizer. It was made from fish poop. Usually they just use dead fish and grind it up, and they make fertilizer. But this had fish poop. I'd never seen that before. I've taken off a lot of fish, I would think.
Well, I was going to have a small koi pond back here in the back in the corner back here where we got plants right now. I always had that in my mind.
We've always had one.
Yeah, I always had in mind putting a little one right there because I can make one with little waterfalls on it and stuff. And I know how to do that. But you have to stop and think where you're at. You're from Indiana down here. We have a lot of critters here that would probably eat them fish faster than I could put them in there.
That's right.
So I just didn't do it.
Yeah, and it would attract a lot of animals that we don't particularly want. So, let's see. Rester says yes, humus compost is from human waste, but they only accept waste from vegans, so it'd be fine.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if that's true.
No, I know that's not true.
But it could be, I suppose.
William says close by Bach Tower is Spook Hill, where you drive to the bottom of the hill, but put car in neutral and it will roll back up itself. It's free.
I have heard that. I've never been there, I don't think, but I have heard that. I think there's a YouTube video about that.
Huh. Well,
it's an illusion. Well, the hill, obviously, it goes the direction your car rolls, but because of the way it's built and stuff, it's kind of like the house when you walk in there and you have to lean sideways, the way they built the house, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just an illusion, but it'd be kind of cool to see it.
Teresa Hilton says, I'm a third grade teacher and I'm retiring in 8 more days. Love to watch you, both of you, every week. Well, thank you, Teresa. Where are you retiring to? You going to stay where you're at, or you think about coming down here?
We could use another teacher down here. I got a neighbor over here as a teacher. She's fed up with me too. He's unteachable, untrainable.
Becky says she thinks she's doing better. She's got a ways to go, though. Well, we hope for the best, Becky. Hopefully you'll be good as new for long. And Amanda says, happy retirement, Teresa. Yes. And she said, definitely moving to the villages. Well, good for you. You know, you'll like it here. There's a lot of teachers here. You know, Judy P., she used to be a teacher. And Joy Hutto, I think she was a teacher.
Was she?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them down here. So, William says, Spook Hill works even better after a couple beers. It intensifies the effect.
I just see these guys that drunk with beer. The guy going up a hill in the car. You go, damn.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, I said, what we got going on in the next week or so? Bonifay Country Club is having a comedy club May the 17th. The doors are open at 5:30. The show's at 7:30. Tickets at bonifaycountryclub.com. It's $35 for the meal is required for the show. So they put out pretty good grub. And
what kind of show?
Comedy club.
You know, I said a long time ago, I said, got all these bands and stuff around here. I said, my mind just said that some of these stages they got here, maybe not during the 5 and 9 o'clock hour, but the stages there all day long. And they could do in some of these bars around here. They could have stand-up comedy.
Well, and they're starting to do that at the country clubs now.
Or I'll tell you another one. I don't like it, but karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of these bars around here do karaoke night?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah, and Mystic Ice Cream does too.
I know that, but that's not here. That's not golf cart accessible.
The one uptown. Think of the name of it.
Uptown. Uptown where?
The meat market.
City Fire?
Yeah.
They'd have karaoke
Everyone,
night?
yeah, they've got one night. I've got a whole list in there for the month, and it tells who's got it and who doesn't.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. But this is something different, guys. This is put on by the Villages. Friday, May 16th and Saturday, May 17th is the Villages prom. It's Friday is back to the 70s and 80s with Fancy Reagan at Lake Sumter Landing. Saturday is the Hop, 50s and 60s with Paisley Craze, 5 to 9 at Lake Sumter Landing. The prom king and queen will be crowned. Prize is awarded for best dressed couple with longest marriage. And then they have a VIP experience package that you can buy. The prom itself doesn't cost you anything. But if you want the VIP experience, for the first 200, they'll have prom pictures, boutonnieres, and wrist corsages for the ladies, plus tickets to Epic Theater for Footloose or Grease, week of May 16th to the 23rd. The tickets for that is $120 a couple, or $75 individual. If you're interested, now the prom itself, you know, you're supposed to come dressed in your prom outfit. And so for the 70s or 80s, that'll be different than what it was for the 50s and 60s. Be cool to see the difference there. But anyhow, to get tickets, it's 352-775-7829. And that, like I said, just sounded something different. Sounded really cute. Also, there's a taekwondo tournament Saturday, the 17th, at 9:30 a.m. at Savannah Center. The second Florida Cup Taekwondo Tournament welcomes competitors from Florida and neighboring states. They'll have board breaking, sparring, and capture the flag competitions. So it doesn't say anything about an entry fee, so you just go to Savannah Center and take a look. Like I said, they're having the tournament, so I think it'll be fun. Some people like that. I think Kevin would be interested in that, wouldn't he?
How would I know?
Well, I mean, yeah. He'd asked me if they had taekwondo down here. So, but yeah, I think that'll be something. It's like I always go to the sword fighting expo. That's always cool. And this is a tournament, so it should be interesting with people from all over coming in. But other than that, you know, I don't have anything else on my board. So, and we still got we got a little bit of time here. Yeah, we got a little bit of time. What we got here? Oh, and honey, by the meat market at City Fire, we weren't talking about a butcher.
They know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I know.
They're just harassing me. They call City Fire the meat market because that seems like that's where all the
That's where the singles hang out.
yeah, that's where a lot of the older people go to hook up. I'm trying to think of what the kids would say. Hook up? They still say that?
I don't know. I haven't been a kid in a long time. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know.
Rester says, Healthy Home Cooking and I will finally start getting serious about potentially moving once I turn 59 and a half. Since I am only 30, it may be a while. And yeah, whatever that name is, like I don't say taekwondo very well. I know that. My son took it too, and I just, yeah.
Yeah, Skippy and I can't think of the other kid's name, the redheaded kid. He was really into it. Matter of fact, to this day, he's got his own taekwondo class.
Oh, yeah.
He came to Ricky's funeral.
Yeah, and I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name either.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I can remember him in the class. I used to go down there and watch the kids go through their training and stuff. And he was just one of them that he just really got into it with the screaming and yelling and carrying on. It was funny to watch him.
Yeah.
But here he is now, 50 years older, and he's got his own taekwondo.
He's made it a career.
Yeah, he drives around. I guess he's traveled the world.
Yeah.
Doing this.
It's one of those things when you don't think about that as being your career move, but.
Well, it's just that some people have it seems like they have a natural ability to take a little thing and turning it into a business. Like YouTube, for example. You know, I'm a small business, but it's like a little bit of nothing. Other people can take what we do here and turning it into he made $500,000 last year. I never could do that. I don't have the vision for that, but they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said, it's just.
One of these days, we're going to have a porch setting. I'm going to call it something like ladies only. I'm not even going to be here. Yeah, we'll get like Judy and Linda and whoever else over here, surround this whole thing the best way we can. I'll try to get the camera set up to get everybody, and we'll call it ladies' night. I'll just start the camera and go in the house with Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I don't see any reason why not. No.
Sometime I'm going to do it at night. I'm going to put those solar lights. I'll put them down there maybe, or hook them up there in here, and we're going to call it beer night or men's night or something like that, where it's just me and the guys. Women are not allowed.
I can do that.
If women ask a question, I'm going to ignore it.
We'll be uptown with our margaritas. You can talk as long as you want. Oh my goodness. Becky Forbes says, Sue, Skip says you only eat grass. I know you don't eat red meat. How about chicken, pork, or seafood?
Yeah, she did. You didn't see that's on Patreon, I think, or Discord. What? No, says, you know what I like? What What is Sue like? I wrote grass.
I eat a lot of vegetables. I do, but I eat fish. In a pinch, I eat chicken. I had a chicken quesadilla the other day because that's the only thing that sounded reasonable to me. Um, but I just don't do red meat. I try to stay with the vegetables as much as I can. But I get, and I'm like everybody else I know. Every once in a while, I get a craving for, I want cake, and then so I've been making strawberry shortcake, and just not eating the cake part. But
What are you barking at now?
but
Get
yeah,
out of
I
there.
try to eat as clean as I possibly can, and that's if I if I seem to want something, I'll get it. It's not like it's a cardinal rule. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a whole food person. I just try to do good. I try to do my body good. How's that? Um, Jose and Davos just have the Hooters girls on porch sitting.
We don't have a Hooters yet.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
So everything's a possibility, but it's just not easy. I'm not the king here where I can say, "Hey, girls, over at my house next week." I can't do that. I got to ask politely.
Anna Marie says man cave porch sitting. There you go.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing one at night because I don't know.
Yeah.
During the daytime, especially in the summer months, it's just super hot.
Okay.
Like if it wasn't for this breeze, today'd be hot.
And Rustler says he'll be down for the man cave night.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'd like to figure out. I could use StreamYard, but this gets into a whole thing of setting up out here. I'd like to figure out a way that I can do it simple like this and be able to have a guest on where I could bring like WrestleMania in live. I ain't figured that out yet.
Okay. You'll get it.
Nah, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, you will. You will. We've there's been a lot of animals, like I said, since the weather's changing here. It's changed from warm to hot. So the animals change because as they're going north, we get a little bit of these, and then they head on north, and then a little bit of this kind, and then they head on north. The cranes are pretty much here all year round, but
the bears, the coyotes,
yeah,
they're here all year round.
Yeah, but you don't see the cranes much in the hot weather, just like you wouldn't see.
I haven't seen them babies for a long time.
Yeah,
and I know they're here. You said you saw them.
Yeah, but like I said, we went right from warm to hot.
We call them our neighborhood babies because once they hatch and they hang around our neighborhood, it seems like they never go anywhere. They're always here.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen them for a while.
And for some reason, I've seen one lone bird.
That could be a baby from last year.
It could be.
And they don't have it because they mate for life.
Yeah. So but you very seldom see one at a time.
But you don't know what happened to his mate. If he had a mate, a gator could have ate it. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Becky Forbes says bacon. No, I don't eat bacon. I don't eat pork.
What normal person does not like bacon?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I don't eat it.
Why not?
My favorite is hot dogs. I
eat hot dogs, but bacon's bad.
I was raised on hot dogs.
I went to Emge's.
But I don't eat them.
Did you know that hot dogs and bologna is the exact same thing?
Only one's in a casing.
I went to Emge's when I sold some hogs up there, and I got a tour of the factory, and there's this big machine, and there's a little hole over here, and there's a big hole over here, and there's two different kind of baskets that shoot these things out like poop going through a goose. Just blowing this stuff out there. One's a hot dog, one's a bologna.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I got my Chewy.
Well, come here.
Yeah.
See? I go to pick him up, and he goes over there.
He wants up here.
Come on.
Up here.
Come on. Come on.
So I don't want you, Daddy. I want Mommy right now. He'll come see you later.
No, I don't. See? I'm going to ignore you.
Come here, buddy. Come on. Get up here, Mommy. There you go. To my doll, baby. Okay. Casey Lane says, by the way, your hair looks great, Sue. On Wendy's days, it's kind of a challenge, let me tell you. Amanda
This is
Hood
why
says,
we don't drive golf carts.
Amanda Hood says, I don't eat pork. I have an intolerance. It makes me ill. Well, for years.
I know some people that don't eat pork because of their religion.
Well, yeah.
I got no problem with that. I'm just saying.
For years, and my boys used to laugh at me for it, but every Thursday was pork chop night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love a
every
good pork
Thursday,
chop.
and that's what kind of got me to where I didn't never eat pork chops. I did still eat bacon and ham back then, but I never ate pork chops
A good pork
because I was
chop.
just sick of them.
The problem is they don't have good pork chops down here. They got these old sows that they got rid of. It's all full of fat. That's not a good pork chop.
Well, if you ask me, they were all bad. So
You know what?
um,
You know how they are. They when we would sell our pigs, they had to be between a certain weight, and we had to feed them nothing but ground feed. They don't run around in the field somewhere, and that's the good pork chops.
oh, and Wrestler says your hair looks good too, Skip.
Does it? I didn't comb it today at all. Here, let me comb it for you. There you go.
And I said, you got more hair than most of the guys out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't. When you're losing it a little bit at a time.
If I
You
can't
worry
have
about
a
it.
beetle haircut, then I don't want no hair at all.
Oh God, I can't imagine.
You laugh, but I can't tell you how many old bald guys down here, and I'm not making fun, but yes, I am. They're bald on top, got no hair on the side, but they got this ponytail in the back. Now that looks stupid.
I told Sean Paul yesterday I was trying to get you to shave the beard off. I think you look better with just the soul patch.
I don't know. I don't sleep with him, so I don't care.
I'm just telling you, I think it did. I've seen pictures. I think it looks better with just the soul patch. Yeah.
Why are you looking at other men and how they look?
Listen, I was looking at you.
I thought you said you saw Paul.
Sean Paul.
What about him?
I told him I wish that you would just get rid of the beard and
I'm not getting rid of it.
Well, I know that because I want you to, so you would never do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
But
I got up one day and thought, what can I do to piss Sue off today? I think I'll grow a beard.
I think you do that some days.
Yeah. So for 10 years, I've been doing this just to irritate her.
I have pictures of you.
What's that?
When you didn't have the beard.
I have a picture of you when you had long hair. I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, I'm not able to grow the long hair. You can grow the soul patch.
I don't get it.
Oh, well, never mind.
I'm lost.
Not a big one.
I'm lost in this conversation.
Oh, Amanda says, yep, bald ponytail.
Matter of fact, I went out for what dinner was it? Mother's Day dinner. And of course, it happened to be my birthday too. So we're sitting at the table eating. By the way, my food was okay, but I wasn't impressed. And she looks at me and she goes, "Do you know how old you are today?" Well, like I'm some kind of retard. I don't know how old I am.
You've been telling everybody the wrong.
No, I ain't.
Yes, you have.
I'm 73.
You've been telling them for a year you're 73.
Well, that started as a kid. When you're 6.5, you're 7. When you're 7.5, you're 8. Well, I'm 72.5, so I'm 73.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I didn't know if you was really sure.
Give me another 2 months, people will say, how old are you? I'm 74. Even though I'm not there yet, but I will be.
Oh, and yes, thank you to all the YouTube members and our moderators, Wrestler, Jerry, Marsha, if you're on here. We appreciate y'all. We really do. And
you guys ain't seeing it yet, but I'm trying to get some videos ahead so that if I'm gone all of June, and I'm not going to be able to do a lot of videos while we're gone. It's all about Wi-Fi and all that. So I'm trying to post some things on Wednesday because we're not going to be doing Porch Settin on Wednesday, just to keep the channel kind of going. So I'm going back in the archives and I'm finding a bunch of stuff that I can edit, and then I'm re-downloading it so it comes up with a more 4K look about it, clearer picture and stuff like that. And I'm cutting some. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. And I'm watching this, and on some of the older WNL shows, I had to thank you for the members at the end of some of them shows. A lot of that I just cut out because it's just wasted, really, for people to watch. It's just wasted space. But I'm watching it going, we haven't done a WNL show now for 3 or 4 years, and this show goes back probably 5 and 6 years ago. And I'm seeing all these names roll around, and those are the same names that are still supporting our channel today. So
we have
thank
loyal
all of you.
people. Yes. Everybody that comes to watch, we appreciate. But like I said, we have so many members that are loyal to us, and a lot of them have become friends.
We've met a lot of them.
Yeah. And we have a ball, no problem.
Every one of them that we meet always says, "Man, you're a lot fatter than I thought you was."
No, they always say you're a lot taller than they thought you were.
I'm just playing games. Nobody gets my sense of humor.
But everybody always says they're a lot taller than what you look. So, but yeah, thanks,
And you know what my answer always
everybody.
is? It makes no sense at all. Well, you're a lot taller than what I thought you was. I said, well, on the videos, I'm sitting down.
Even Buddy barked at that one. Anyhow, glad you could join us. Come see us next
Are we done?
Wednesday, and don't forget the news on Friday night.
Oh, today, Patreon, they get the news 3 o'clock today,
Oh, okay.
and YouTube members, but basically Patreon, they get the news today.
Ah, terrific. See you on the other side.